The journalist.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Hello.
I want to talk to you. Okay, I can first.
Wait, they want to know.
You said
Over there after two.
Brown brush. I mean,
I was waiting for you to say it. And
Love goodness.
we're like, how she always got to say you and
Billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the NGLA podcast. I had to restart the stream, man, because there was too much going on with it. And I was like, fuck it, you know what? Let me just restart it and get right back to it. But anyway, before we start, man, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so y'all get notified every time your boy drop a dope new video. Listen, I'm learning as I go. I love this shit, and I hope you guys love it too. I hope it's entertaining. I hope I'm giving you something that you haven't got before. So, without further ado, man, before we get into some other topics, man, I want to talk about the fact that we dodged a bullet, people. A big one. I'm talking about like one of them big motherfucking 223s or something. Like, we dodged a big one with Trump winning the election because Kamala Harris was so incompetent, man. And I just want people to really realize how incompetent she really was. And the comparison isn't even close. Like, Donald Trump wins by like miles. Like, she literally lied so much. And we're going to show you a little bit of proof. Now, these are videos and things that you might have seen before, or you might not have. It doesn't matter. The whole point is I want you to understand that get your mind out of being a Democrat or a Republican. Just because I talk positive in ways about Trump doesn't mean that I'm a Republican. It just means that I agree with things that he is doing. Now, if Donald Trump does something that I dislike or I disapprove of, I'm going to speak on it because I'm not biased, bro. I was once a guy that was against Donald Trump like everybody else because I had a victim mentality and I just thought Trump was racist because that's what the news reported at the time. I thought the news was a reliable source for information. And come to find out they weren't. But I had to grow up. I had to wake up. You know what I mean? I had to wake up and not be woke, you know? And at the end of the day, people really, truly don't understand because, yo, we would be, like, I can't even imagine. Like, as many things as Donald Trump has done in just 6 months, I couldn't imagine how much shit Kamala would have fucked up in that 6 months. Just 6 months. We would have had way more illegal immigrants in the country because it just would have been a free fall. Everything that people are in the news and everything right now going against Trump about, all of them things would have just been a go. Like, all of it. Like, they would have been just flooding Ukraine with money. They just would have been giving illegals, food stamps, all types of shit. And the other day when the guy, I forget I'm terrible with names. But the video that I showed previously with the guy explaining how in less than 2 decades, like, America would be in, like, no more type shit. And she would have probably brung that to 10 years or less if she was the president. And I'm going to show this. Let's get into these videos. I'm going to show this first video because off the rip, I just didn't understand how people didn't. Like, my thing is this. You got people who lie, you know, and I think that there's situations where you might have to or whatever, or you might not tell the whole truth because some people can't handle that, right? But when you just lie about shit that's just insane, like your race, to me, that's like, how can I believe anything else that you say? So let's get into this little, most of these clips are very short, to the point, and we're going to chat about it.
It says that Kamala Harris has always identified herself as a black woman, but here's a clip. I'll just play it.
Yeah, this is the press. Tom, rewind, please.
Rewind.
Go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Laugh, bro.
So we're both Indian,
Yes.
but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people
You
we're
do.
related already,
Yeah.
so this is perfect. It's basically true. And so, were you raised eating South Indian food?
South Indian food.
You get the point. And she said, people would say, oh, what she said is the whole half of the one side of my family, which will give you the thought that the other half is black. Now, my thing is this. She's Jamaican and Indian. There's not one true Jamaican that would ever say that they're African American. They won't. They would look at you like you're disrespecting them. It's like calling a Puerto Rican Mexican or a Dominican Puerto Rican. They would take it as disrespect. So the fact that they're trying to correlate with, I even heard them make the argument that slaves from Africa went to Jamaica, so they try to make that correlation. Like, what are we talking about? She's Jamaican and Indian. She's not African American. It's totally different, bro. It's not even the same at all. Like, nothing the same about it at all. They're like the whole culture, everything is way different than being African American. Totally different, not the same. And what's crazy is that alone, you have, even when you go back to 2016 when she became the senator, I think a senator, she was the first Asian American senator. They said Asian, but that's Indian. Didn't say first Asian African American, first Asian American senator, right? Then when she ran against Joe for the Democratic primary, I think then she was trying to play the black card in 2020. And then obviously in 2024 also, when she took over for Joe Biden, running for the Democratic, running for the election. But literally there's a clip of even people like Don Lemon, who is a Democrat at heart, period, no doubt about it. He even said back then, in I believe 2016, there's a clip of him arguing on CNN about her not being black. And then now when she ran against Trump, he changed his whole tune. So it's just crazy how nutty these people are, bro. And this is a person who cares about America and cares about parents and cares about everybody. She's just a loving person. But she really isn't. She's a piece of shit.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Hold on. Why?
Kamala Harris
Okay, here we go. My bad, people. My bad.
knows how to keep criminals off the streets.
Word.
For the parents who work from can't see in the morning until can't see at night.
That's right.
Not so that they will have a better future, but so that their children will have a better life.
So their children. She cares about the children, people.
I believe a child going without an education is tantamount to a crime. So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
What?
Well, this was a little controversial in San Francisco.
Oh, shit. That stupid
And
ass
frankly, my
laugh.
staff went bananas. They were very concerned because we didn't know at the time whether I was going to have an opponent in my re-election race.
Bro, how do you even take her serious, bro? Real shit. Just look at her. Oh my God. Disgusting. How do you take her serious, bro? How? I don't get it. I don't get it. She is literally a person who just lies. And, bro, she was locking up parents because their children weren't going to school. It was a money grab, bro. And you could go and watch Judge Joe Brown. He had a few interviews talking about Kamala Harris. Mind you, he's a judge. He had a lot of influence. He was in these crowds. He know these people. He said that she literally did shady shit. And you can go watch them interviews with Judge Joe Brown talking about Kamala Harris. And he even said that, you know, she did a few things for a piece of change to get in these rooms, and it worked for her. Now, that's her business. But at the end of the day, don't act like she got there because she's an educated black woman, so-called, allegedly, and she got it all off hard work and these smarts and being witty and all of this shit. It's a lie. She's far from intelligent. She's just a person that can say she has a degree, and that's about it. She's not intelligent whatsoever, bro. But let's get into this other video that proves that she's incompetent, that proves that she literally can't think for herself.
60 Minutes is under fire for deceptively editing its prized interview with Kamala Harris in the middle of the election campaign. The New York Post has reported that Harris's answers on Israel were heavily edited to get rid of her garbled response. But don't take my word for it. Watch what went to air and then what was really said.
The work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles. Well, let's start with this. On this subject, the aid that we have given Israel allowed Israel to defend itself against 200 ballistic missiles that were just meant to attack the Israelis and the people of Israel. And I think that is the most recent example of why what we do to assist in their defense around military aid is important. And when we think about the threat that Hamas, Hezbollah presents, Iran, I think that it is without any question our imperative to do what we can to allow Israel to defend itself against those kinds of attacks. Now, the work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles, which include the need for humanitarian aid, the need for this war to end, the need for a deal to be done which would release the hostages and create a ceasefire. We are not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end. The work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region. And we're not going to stop doing that. We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Well, joining me now to discuss is Sky News contributor Kosha Garda. And Kosha, that very lengthy side-by-side we played, it was long, but very important, because what 60 Minutes has done is when Kamala Harris was asked a question, one of the biggest complaints against her during the election campaign was that she rambled, she was slow to get to her point, she wasn't succinct. They have cut the best, the sharpest bites for her to go to air and made it seem like she's quick, like she's responsive, like she's competent, when in reality, she was just a rambling mess.
Yes, and from CBS's perspective, Jack, they clearly made a calculus over here, and I'm not sure it was fully thought through or it's coming to fruition the way they thought, because I don't think they actually changed anybody's minds in terms of the coherence or succinctness of Kamala Harris as a communicator. She had been well established as somebody who was prone to rambling. This term word salad has become a phrase that everybody's familiar with her, and I don't think them swooping in to save her in this case changed anybody's minds about her effectiveness or lack thereof as a communicator. What it did do, though, is it set them up to be embarrassed, because then Trump went on to win. Now his FCC chair forced them to release the transcript because they fall under the purview of the FCC since they're a free-to-air network over there. They've had to do this, and everybody can see it. So I think, Kamala Harris's image is what it is, but it's CBS's image that gets tarnished in this.
Oh, definitely. They've suffered a lot of damage for this, and quite rightfully, and that's why people get a little bit angry at the mainstream media over there. But let's move on, because this week Trump signed an executive order which prevents...
Yeah, man. So it just goes to show you how incompetent she really is, bro. She literally has no brain cells that actually work in her favor, like literally. And just think, bro, she literally could have been the president of the United States of America. Joe Biden was already bad enough, and she was the vice president. She was in charge of the border. She was the border czar. And what did she do? She let millions of illegal immigrants come into this country. And now you got people like Scott Jennings on CNN who is debating with Abby Phillips and other panelists about illegal immigrants. And what do? Lie. They lie about Trump when it comes to this whole illegal immigration thing. And what they do is they put out there that Trump is deporting immigrants, right? So people really, there is people that really believe this, and they say that he's just snatching people up off the streets because they're immigrants. No, he's locking up illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants. And it's just like they don't want to say the word illegal. At the end of the day, they broke the law the moment they crossed the border. And then you have people who, have deportation orders, right? Who overstayed their visas and things like that, who are going to get locked up. ICE is going to come and they're going to get you. And you have all of these Democrat people, politicians, and these news anchors who are in the Democrat pocket also talking about illegal immigrants like they're American citizens, bro. And then they talk about the birthright citizenship. That's a big thing too. And I believe that the courts are trying to, play Trump on it, but they know the truth, bro. It's in the Constitution about. So let me give you the actual language on it, because I really don't like just talking about something I'm familiar with it, but I want to actually give you the definition. Okay, here we go. Let's see what this says. Let me see. So it says, birthright citizenship in the United States is guaranteed by the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. This amendment states that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. This principle, known as jus soli, right of the soil ensures that anyone born within the United States borders is automatically granted citizenship, regardless of their parents' immigration status. Okay. So this is what they're using to try to keep all of these illegal immigrants here. But see, I'm not 100% sure, but I heard that this was put in the Constitution and was referred to from slaves. Now, I don't know. Is it a good argument in the courts? Yeah, but at the same time, these people came here under the pretext that they would get the American dream. And they came here and they're fucking up Social Security, they're fucking up Medicaid, Medicare, all of these SNAP benefits, all of that. And they were giving these people hella money, bro. I seen videos where people had seen the receipt of a Venezuela lady who had bought food, thousands on her joint, thousands. Free hotel, free. This is not free though, because we're the ones that have to pay for it. People like me who work, people like you who work and pay taxes are the ones who have to pay for all of these illegal immigrants that are here in the United States who are getting all of these benefits that should be going to U.S. citizens. And it's so crazy because it's the way y'all look at things too is like, why are they fighting so hard for these illegal immigrants? Why aren't they fighting for the poor, impoverished communities here that been here, in the black communities, black people who've been here? I don't understand. I don't see them up in arms about any of that. They're not talking about all the gun violence, all the black on black crime, all the black kids being killed, all the drugs in the community. They're not talking about any of it. But instead, we're talking about illegal immigrants who came over the border illegally. It's crazy, bro. I don't get it. It is what it is, bro. These people do not give a fuck about you. And it's really proof that they're just trying to ruin the United States of America. Because with all the things that was already going on because of COVID and raising all of these prices and all of these different things, all of these things caused homelessness. This caused people to lose their pensions, lose a lot of shit, if not everything. And then on top of that, you want to bring all the 20 million illegal immigrants here and then give them our money? And then what's hilarious is they talk from a point of view like as if the American people are the ones that agree with this, when it's not true. They agree with Trump. And you know why I know they agree with Trump? Because they voted for Donald Trump to be the president of the United States and not Kamala Harris. Let's get into this other video about Dan Bongino, man. Dan Bongino is, forget his position, but I know he's in the FBI with Kash Patel. And basically, he's frustrated with Pam Bondi and this whole Epstein thing. And I get it. Because so let's just get into the video. So you know what? Hold on. You know what? Let's play this first, because this would be better. Let's play this first. This is let me see. This is Stephen Gardner. He's another person that I follow. He's great. He definitely give you valuable information. I want to, matter of fact, let's get into this. And this is going to correlate with Dan Bongino and kind of the reason why he might be out. Not sure if that's true or not, but that's, you'll see.
All right. We are definitely being lied to about Jeffrey Epstein. I'm going to show you some evidence about the video where he supposedly unalived himself. We've got accused people coming forward saying, I know the names, but I have a gag order. I'm not allowed to say them. And why there's a cover-up. There's stuff going on at NASA, federal judges trying to block President Trump. Somebody tried to get into Mar-a-Lago to get to Trump, not realizing that he was still in Washington, D.C. So let's go ahead and jump into the news. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out. So thank you so much. Okay, attorney Alan Dershowitz, someone who's been on my channel 6-7 times, claims that he is personally aware of the identities of those on the Epstein list, asserting that Epstein's documents are being withheld to shield certain individuals. He states he's restricted by confidentiality and cannot disclose names, but confirms the existence of files and names. He's also said, as I represented him, he was going to Israel a lot and basically speculated that he could have been a part of Mossad, which is the Israeli CIA, but he doesn't have any evidence of that. Let's go ahead and listen to what Alan Dershowitz had to say.
This is not an opinion. This is a fact. I have seen, remember, I was accused falsely on the Epstein, and ultimately I was completely cleared. The woman admitted that she may have mistook me for somebody else and withdrew all of her lawsuits. And so from day one, from the day I was accused, I said I want every document out because I knew every document would prove I was innocent. So let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them. And that's wrong.
Just out of curiosity, without names, are these politicians, business leaders, both?
They're everything. And let me tell you, a lot of them are, at least one of them is somebody who was accused. Others are accusers. And the judges have said, if somebody calls themselves a victim, we're not going to give any information about them. But they may not be victims. They may be perpetrators. So we don't have information about false accusers. And we know there have been many false accusers who have accused innocent people for money. And those records are being deliberately, willfully suppressed. And they shouldn't be suppressed. If the accusation is allowed out, so should the material that diminishes the credibility of the accuser. We want total transparency on this. Every single document, no redaction. That's what I've said from day one. I waive any of my rights of privacy. Anything there is about me, I'm happy because it will be exculpatory, because I know I haven't touched a woman other than my wife from the day I met Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even hug people, but I was falsely accused and I was able to prove it. And I was able to prove it through documents. And I want other people to be able to disprove false accusations through documents. But these documents are being suppressed and withheld.
All right. Wow. Remember when President Trump was under a gag order and he wasn't allowed to say names or certain words or talk about what was going on in his court case? That's what's going on with Jeffrey Epstein here. He is saying, I know these names, but legally I am bound. And since he's such a lover of the law as an attorney, he's honoring that, but he's like, get these names out. On top of that, internet sleuths are digging in. They are now saying this exculpatory evidence that proves Jeffrey Epstein didn't unalive himself is not even the footage. It doesn't even point at the Epstein jail cell. So I want to go through this. I feel like Benny Johnson explained this better than me, and he got it from about 15 different sources. So I'm going to let him go ahead and explain this to you because it's really, really interesting.
Thank you. Stay with me, Clem. Thank you. Right there. In fact, the officer station had a unique angle of Epstein's cell. Now let's look at the screenshot from the video the DOJ shared. So you can see here that the officer would have been able to see Epstein's cell door and cell block. So when they say the officers fell asleep, they said that for a reason. They knew that the officers that were stationed there would be able to look directly at Epstein's door. They needed an alibi because something bad happened. You immediately notice that whatever this is not the cell block that Epstein was in. Those are not cell doors. In fact, this 10-minute 10 minutes into the video, a person just comes out of one of those doors with a trash bin and places it in the middle of the floor. So if it's not a cell block, what is this? The space that we're looking at is the common space near the elevator's staircase. I've marked it myself on the diagram below. The red dot is the position where the cameras are. The DOJ released the video was recorded. This is the opposite of the officer's station, and in no way could have seen Epstein's cell block, let alone Epstein's cell. Even the one piece of evidence that they released is a lie. They said, here's Epstein's cell door. It's not. The way you can confirm this is the space marked on the schematics and the angle and the shape of the floor that matches the angles that we see in the doors in the video. The door is marked 46. That leads to the main entrance. This is the exit for the entire tier. So if we go once more to the DOJ footage, you can see that the officer station at the far end, when you zoom in, you see some teeth on the side. You can see them right there. Those teeth are the staircase up to Jeffrey Epstein's cell. You see them right there on the far right-hand side. Guys, is Tom ready? Is Tom set? Okay, great. Okay, we'll move very quickly here. The only thing that we can remotely see in the direction of Epstein's cell block is this silver staircase. You can go up and down the staircase without being seen by the camera. Anyone could have ever entered Epstein's cell, even in the footage. Now, this is important. Gate 46 is the only way in or out of the SHU cell block floor. Okay, got it. So this is the full entry to the floor. We have 11 hours footage throughout the night with that one missing minute. So you must prove that nobody entered or exited the floor, right? But the obvious question is, how do we know that someone wasn't there beforehand? How do we know someone wasn't in before the DOJ video started? By all measures, you could have stayed in Epstein's cell block. You could have actually not been seen by the camera or the guard if you were just hidden inside of the utility closet or the crawl space. Right there, there's Epstein's door, and there is a unlocked security closet. And there is the broken camera. So of course, we have no footage of what actually happened. We have no footage of Epstein's door. It's all a lie. And the footage that we're seeing is the entirety of the cell block. Anyone could have entered Epstein's actual tier.
Okay, so the camera that was on Jeffrey Epstein's door was broken. The video footage that the FBI and the DOJ keep showing everybody is the entryway to the cell block. It's not his door. Everyone keeps looking at those doors, and they've led you to believe that those are his door. It's not. It's not. Now, Alex Jones gave some incredible insight too.
Yo, before we keep going with this video, this is the reason why I said he should have never made that promise, bro. Because, I mean, my thing is, release this shit. Now, if it is true that there are, you heard what the lawyer, he was a lawyer, you know what he said. He said he got a gag order, so he can't say, what he knows. But he said there's people that people know on this list. So it's weird, bro. It's weird. Why they're not doing it, obviously, it's to protect some people, And it definitely, I'm not gonna lie, bro. It makes Trump look bad, bro. But does this? It doesn't affect, for me. It doesn't affect his overall attitude on shit, because during the cabinet meeting, he said, like, "Yo, we really still talking about Epstein? Like, you got the floods that happened in Texas, all them little girls that died. People died. It's a tragedy." We also got positive things that's going on in the administration, but yet y'all still want to talk about Epstein? And my whole thing is, people would say, yo, Trump not releasing it because Trump is in it. If Trump was in it, don't you think, because this evidence was, the FBI and them had it when Joe Biden was in office. If Trump was in the Epstein files, you're saying that Joe Biden, the one who said that, who was pushing for them to arrest Donald Trump, you're saying that he wouldn't have released the anything that had to do with Donald Trump in a bad light. It doesn't, that doesn't make sense. They would have definitely 100% released it. They didn't release it because there's other people in that joint, and she can get goofy. Let's watch a little bit more of this.
And Jones said he believes that God protected President Trump for many reasons, but one of those reasons was to expose these sickos that are in the elites. And as Alan Dershowitz says, some of them are politicians, others are business people. They are names that you would know. So we are not getting the full story, and I believe it's eventually going to come out. But let's listen to what Alex Jones had to say about this.
The Trump administration's attempt to whitewash deep six, gaslight the public into just forgetting about the Jeffrey Epstein intelligence agency pedophile network blackmail system is not going away. In fact, the attempts to deep six it have only made it explode, as everybody can see. And
That's
look, we know the Democrats openly run child trafficking, the Clintons, their foundation, all of it, total connections to Epstein and more. So when I'm critical of Trump over this 180, it's because Trump's done such a great job, and we want to keep him true to the principles of why we got him elected 3 separate times. And at the same time, it's very important to bring down the entire globalist deep state with the Epstein file. So that's why people are so horrified. But there's so many things with this new Justice Department FBI memo that came out last Sunday that just enraged the public even more, like showing a video from inside the New York Federal Detention Center saying, look, here's the proof that nobody went into Epstein's cell. It doesn't even show the door to his wing. And then there's a missing minute of it. And they say, look, here's your proof. I mean, it's like it's designed to piss people off. And I've already broken this down, but I saw a clip from Benny Johnson's show a few days ago this morning that shows the diagrams and everything that totally detail this. And it's just over the top crazy. And so beside this video, I'm going to post that excerpt from the great Benny Johnson. Now, again, I understand that the Trump administration has a lot of huge issues, like trying to stop nuclear war and getting the economy going and getting interest rate cuts and getting rid of the Federal Reserve head Powell, and that's all happening. Very exciting. Very exciting. I just don't like to see this turn we've been going into. And then I ask myself, who is advising the FBI DOJ if they're going to try to drop the Epstein thing to then make a huge issue out of it and tell us all to shut up like Trump did in that press conference 2 days ago? This is insanity, ladies and gentlemen. People are paying attention. But at the end of the day, the Democrats are celebrating, oh, look, Alex Jones and others are critical of Trump. Because we have a soul. We're not in a cult like you. You guys are openly promoting pedophilia and smuggled 350,000 kids in that disappeared and they've been found in sex slavery and physical slave labor. So you guys are the known bad guys. We are the moral populist movement. So, of course, we're going to be critical of the Trump administration when they do things that are wrong. So this doesn't exonerate you. This doesn't vindicate you. This just shows how horrible you are and how disgusting you are. Be sure and watch Benny Johnson's report. It is extremely powerful. And ask yourself why they put this out.
All right.
Man, I'm not even going to lie, bro. This whole thing is like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. It's crazy. And since Pam Bondi has been in this position that she's in, she has done nothing good for herself. It's almost like the craziest thing is that when you look at when she brought out this whole Epstein situation, when she said the files are on my desk to review and all that, right? It's almost like she's just doing it to get, excuse me. It's like she's doing it just to get attention. And she just wants to get that spot on CNN to talk about whatever. But she doesn't really care. You know what I mean? Listen, I fuck with Alex Jones, man. Benny Johnson, I fuck with Stephen Gardner. They're all right, you know? This does make Trump look away, you know what I'm saying? And like I just said, I just got done saying, yes, there is more pressing issues than this whole Epstein situation. But at the end of the day, why even tell people that you're going to release it then? I don't get it. It doesn't make you look good. If anything, if Trump would have been better off never saying it. And then if the time came, put it out there so that people can. But when you tell everybody we're going to do this and then you don't do it, no, like it's just like anything. Somebody can do the greatest shit, right? 1,000,000 times, but the one thing you fuck up, the one thing you get wrong, everybody will try to remember you for that one fuck up. It's just like that. So everybody is saying, congratulations, Trump, congratulations, but what about this? So nobody's even caring about all the great shit that he's doing. Now they're trying to make, and the news, CNN, ABC, DNC, they're all gonna push this whole thing to make Trump look bad. This is what they do. So I ain't shocked that they're doing it. It's crazy, bro. So let's get into this last clip about Dan Bongino.
All right, this breaking news. Sources tell CNN that Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino has told people that he's considering resigning amid a major clash between the FBI and DOJ over the continued fallout from the release or lack thereof of the Jeffrey Epstein memo. Joining us right now on the phone is CNN anchor and chief White House correspondent Caitlin Collins. Caitlin, what more are you learning?
Yeah, Fred, it remains to be seen if he actually follows through with what he has told colleagues. But what we do know is that Dan Bongino has told people he is considering resigning as the deputy director of the FBI over the fallout that has continued ever since this memo was released last Sunday. The anger inside the MAGA base has only continued to grow instead of going away, as some officials inside hoped it would. And now our colleagues, along with Christian Holmes, Tanner Rabinowitz, and Evan Perez, we're hearing that he's considering resigning after they had this heated confrontation with the Attorney General Pam Bondi over the handling of this earlier this week. And basically there was a meeting at the White House where the FBI Director, Kash Patel, was there, the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. They were questioned about whether they were part of a story that there was basically some infighting over how this came out and this memo that said we're not going to be releasing any more information related to Jeffrey Epstein. And I should note that we are told Bongino denied leaking any story to this outlet that it was reported on. But there has been a lot of fighting between Attorney General Pam Bondi specifically and the leadership over at the FBI over who's to blame in this situation. I think the context here is obviously Dan Bongino, Kash Patel. They came from this MAGA world where they themselves had pushed a lot of questions about the so-called client list that Epstein had beforehand. And now the MAGA base is just not pleased or satisfied with what they've said in this memo that came out unsigned from the Justice Department and the FBI on Sunday night. So what we are told is Dan Bongino did not show up to work today, that he is essentially not there out of protest. But whether or not he actually follows through on this still remains to be seen. We're still reporting that out. But it just speaks to the backlash that the White House is very much feeling and understanding after this memo came out, despite President Trump the other day in the cabinet room asking, who still cares about this? One thing we know is the MAGA base certainly does.
Well, I don't even like Caitlin Collins at all. She is one of them ones that's in a pocket. But, I mean, she reported honestly on that. So, I fuck with Dan Bongino. He had his show, his channel on YouTube, and he had a great following and everything, and he left that to go fuck with Trump and his administration. And Dan Bongino was real outspoken when that whole situation when Trump almost got assassinated live on TV. He was real vocal about that, and the handling of the Homeland Security and that whole situation. So everybody was real happy when Dan Bongino went to work at the FBI with Kash Patel. And at the end of the day, I understand his frustration though, because it's like the handling of this is stupid, and then on top of that, it's making them look bad. You know what I mean? So all because basically it seems as though Pam Bondi jumped the gun on this whole thing. Now, mind you, Trump did a little bit too, because before he actually won the election, he made the promise to release the JFK, the Epstein files, and the MLK files. And yet, none of it is yet to be released. So I can understand people's frustration about it. You know, people do want to know the truth about these situations. But unfortunately, man, more than likely it's not going to happen, just because there's so many different people involved in these high places. And you know how that goes, man, you know. And it's not right. But it's like you can also understand the dilemma. You know? So it's definitely we'll see. We'll see what happens with that whole situation. Me personally, I'll say fuck it. Drop it. Drop everything, release everything, unredacted, show everything, you know, and that's why I think that Pam Bondi put emphasis on it was a bunch of child porn, and we're not going to release that and this and that. I think she put too much emphasis on that, which gave it away. And there's actually a video I want to look at. I might show it tomorrow. But a guy, he's like a body language expert, and he was evaluating the cabinet meeting and different things that Trump said and Caroline Levitt said and Pam Bondi said, and he gave some commentary on that. So I want to watch it. Maybe I might play it tomorrow. We'll see. And my bad, I keep burping, man. I just ate some delicious tacos, and they were great. And shout out to my fiance for always feeding me, keeping my weight up. But yeah, man, that's the show for today. This your boy SL550, man. If y'all fuck with the content, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification button so y'all get notified every single time your boy drop a video. Please hit that like button, comment down below. Truly, truly, truly do appreciate it, man. Trying to get this channel up. So support your boy, man. Just a young nigga trying to make it. You heard? So fuck with your boy. It's your boy SL550. I'm out, you heard?
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never going